Okay. Hello, everyone. I would like to thank you all for coming here today to our event. My name is Mohammed Musallam, and today I'm very excited to talk about Silverlight. Actually, in our community, we have been a little bit silent about Silverlight, but starting from now, we will focus about this technology because it's very interesting and very exciting technology. Okay. So today, I have a confession. I stole the slides from someone called Mike Tolby, he's a Microsoft employee. He actually developed a presentation on Silverlight, 77 slides on Silverlight. Don't panic, I'm not going to show you all the 77 slides. It's actually very interesting presentation. You can download it if you want to take a whole overview on Silverlight. So let's start. Hello? Sorry for that. Okay, what is Silverlight? It's a cool technology. Yeah, it's cool, very cool. So actually, Silverlight is what is it's a browser plugin. You know, a typical browser plugin like Flash or any other plugins you have in your browser. Okay. We have 3 versions for Silverlight. The first version came in September 2007. And as you can see in this little time frame, we have 3 versions. This shows how Silverlight is evolving dynamically. The current version you will work with is version 3. And of course, we have version 4, it's still in beta. So Silverlight is what? It's a platform for building rich internet applications. By rich internet applications, I mean applications that can host different types of media, different types of videos, animations, different types of graphics. A platform for building line business applications. It has many features like layout, sliding, animation, support for data binding. So the browser hosts this plugin, okay? And Silverlight is kind of cross-platform, cross-browser technology. It can run on both Windows and Mac, on Firefox, Internet Explorer, Safari, and also it can run on Linux. There is some kind of open source project. It's called Moonlight. It imports Silverlight to run on a Linux platform, okay? So I'm starting from Silverlight 4, the official support for Google Chrome. Anyone using Google Chrome? So as we said, it's a plugin, typical plugin that will be installed when you visit pages that is host Silverlight component. And of course, after you install the plugin, you can configure it to auto-update. The installer, the Silverlight installer is kind of small, it's like 4 mix installation. I'm not sure about the timing, depending on your connection speed. So what you do is you build your Silverlight application and you host it on the web page. So the plugin is instantiated on the web page. If you worked with HTML before, you will find this the typical syntax of declaring a plugin. You define an object. Okay. And in Silverlight object, you pass the parameter, the file. Of course, the plugin can be hosted by itself on the web page, or it can be hosted with other HTML elements. So you can have your Silverlight application inside a single page, or you can have it with other elements in your web page. For example, with other ASP.NET components or ASP.NET files. So what happens is that the plugin launches the application. The plugin has a parameter for the ZAP file. ZAP file is your application. It's a kind of package, okay? A package that contains your file. So what happens is that the server, the browser requests that file, downloads it from the site, and then the ZAP file will be unzipped, and of course it will have your application DLLs, resources, assemblies. After that, the Silverlight runtime starts your application. Actually, Silverlight runtime is the kind of special version of the .NET framework. We know that we have now 2 versions for the .NET framework. The one with the desktop or server version, and the one for the mobile devices. Okay. But Silverlight runtime is a kind of a special version of the .NET specifically designed for Silverlight. This means that you will not have all the functionality from the .NET, or of course you have most of the functionality, but some of the functionality will not be available in the .NET framework and the Silverlight version. Okay, so as we said, this is a special version of the .NET framework, not the full version. And Silverlight programming model is a kind of subset of Windows Workflow Windows Presentation Foundation. Anyone worked with WPF before? If anyone worked with WPF, you will find the same programming model here in Silverlight, but with some limitations. Okay. Because Silverlight applications run as a browser plugin, it means that it runs inside what we call a sandbox model. It means that it's run with certain security limitations that will give you not full access to local resources, will give you a limited access to the resources such as the local files, network, hardware, and other applications on your machine. This is, of course, for security reasons, because you don't want any user to accidentally get into some malicious, download some malicious Silverlight application that can destroy his machine. With version 3, Silverlight 3, a new feature added that allows you to take your Silverlight application offline. This allows you to work in new models like disconnected applications. So you can install your Silverlight once you visited the web page that hosts Silverlight application. You can choose to install it locally. What happens is that this application is copied to your machine, and you can run it without have a connection to the internet. It still runs inside the browser, inside the browser Chrome, but now you don't have internet. You don't need to have an internet connection. You can run in disconnected mode, and of course you can programmatically check for updates. For example, on the startup of your application, you can check if there is an updated version, so you can download. Still, of course, this local installation has also some limitations. It will not be like a full desktop application. Starting from Silverlight 4, we have the relaxed limitations. Now you can access local files if you install the application locally. You can access local files, you can access network, and if you are running on a Windows platform, you can call components. So how do we build a Silverlight application? It's a kind of two stories. We have the developer story and the designer story. The developer, of course, will write code to emulate the business logic. And the designer will design the interface. We use XAML markup language, Sensible Application Markup Language. It's a language designed specifically for building applications, for building UI applications. Of course, it's available in WPF and also in Silverlight. So using XAML, you define how your application will look like. And using the code, you will implement the logic behind your application. So the same stories apply to the tools we have. We have, of course, for development or writing code, we have the Visual Studio, different editions, Visual Studio 2008. And of course, if you are interested in using Eclipse, we have a plugin for Silverlight to develop applications on Eclipse tool. And for the design part, you have the Expression Family, Expression Blend, and Sketch Flow, and Deep Zoom Composer. These tools will allow you, it's more oriented towards the designer. So designer can, if you have a designer with experience with working with Flash, you will find the same or similar concept here in the Blend. Okay. So Blend, you can use it from initially for sketching your application prototype until you finalize the UI of your application. And after that, of course, you will use the development platform. And starting in Visual Studio 2010, now the designer inside Visual Studio 2010 has enhanced features for working with Silverlight, because before that, there are some scenarios that you have to go to Blend to implement it, because it will be, you can't implement it using Visual Studio, you have to write the XAML, but starting from 2010, most of the scenarios you will be able to implement it inside Visual Studio 2010. So what can a Silverlight application do? Regarding the display features, you can work with graphics, you can work with media, you can work with text. You have multiple built-in control, like 30 plus controls. You can compose control, you can have different layouts, you can perform transformation, animation, styling, you can perform data binding, you can apply special effects to your UI. Regarding the browser, you can interact with the browser, you can access HTML elements from inside the Silverlight.